There's still some people trying to get in, but I'll get started. So what is being suggested, what's being expressed here is the obvious, the obviousness, the simply undivided already. It is already what it is. And no matter what is said in this meeting, no matter what argument happens or questions that arise, it already is, no matter what seemingly happens. And the reason why what is not divided or simply not two is often not noticed is because it's just too darn conspicuous. The glaringly evident, the unmistakable, the crystal clear clarity, the evident, the utterly apparent, um, seemingly are qualities that are often far too ordinary to grab anyone's attention. This does not require any attention. And what seems to appear is this trying to grasp something that cannot be grasped. It's like the unadorned screen in a movie theater. Um, who will give a second thought when the real spectacle is on the silver screen? For example, if there's movement, what's often overlooked is the stillness. It's too overt, too lacking in subtlety, too predictable to be intriguing, perhaps. It's like that canvas beneath a masterpiece of a painting, the blank page prior to the printed words, the unremarkable space in which everything seems to appear, the obvious, the overlooked, the unmistakable, undivided. What is this? Seems to appear, but is often overlooked because it's not what is longed for. So what is looking is already what is, and there's really no one looking because there's no subject or object. It already is whole and complete already. So there is no one that is nothing that seems to be missing, and it's just what is. So the undeniable, the very foundation of this apparent appearance remains astonishingly overlooked. But there is no one being corrected here, no one to guilt or shame. Simply, there's no one at fault since there's no two, for it's a natural oversight. So again, nothing that can be said here can change what is already. Nothing that can be changed over there because there's no over there, because it's already perfection. And in this perfection, there's nothing that needs to be added. Although there's a seeming idea that there's something lacking, there's something that needs to be attained, there's something that needs to be understood, there's something that needs to be, that something needs to happen. Nothing needs to happen because what already is perfectly as it is already, and there's nothing that needs to be added onto it. So this meeting has nothing to do with anyone listening to it. This meeting has nothing to do with anything at all. It's just basically illuminating what already is. What already is appearing seemingly overlooked, seemingly misunderstood, seemingly mistaken for something that is not. Since everything is already complete, what is already what is, nothing can change it. There's no changes that needs to happen here. There's no shift that needs to appear. Um, Although that may occur in what's being spoken about here, because the words are already in silence. The movement is already in stillness. They're not separate. They're not two. There's nothing missing. Even if there's a thought that there's something missing, it already is. And it's a very simple, overlooked appearance of something that cannot be mistaken. For what is already is immovable, it's undeniable, it's unknowable. But the moment that word seems to appear to try to describe it, then it tries to grasp the word that seems to obscure it. Then the ifs, the how, the what appears And that's also what is. So even the question on what seems to be discussed here is also what is, but it has nothing to do with the person. It has nothing to do with the character that seems to try to understand what is this. Seemingly in conversations about this, when it's expressed that it has nothing to do with the words, it has nothing to do with the content, it has nothing to do with the meaning, it has nothing to do with what's being expressed, even. What is often heard is that there's something that needs to be understood, something that needs to be processed, something that needs to be known. It's unmistakable already. It's already undeniable. It's already fascinatingly obvious, but not for someone. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with the speaker, because despite all of these talk, despite of the questions, the answers that will seemingly arise, appear out of nowhere, it already is. There's this unchangeable, this unmistakable stillness, emptiness, blankness that seems to come in fullness, in this appearance of aliveness. There is this unquestionableness of something that cannot be moved. Simply nothing has ever moved, nothing has ever changed, nothing will ever move, and nothing will ever change. And in the longing for that, what is being spoken about, it tries to move mountains. It tries to seek in time of something that is completely timeless. It tries to understand something that does not need any understanding, something that does not need any knowledge nor any wisdom. So it's really hopeless, is what's being expressed here. But that hopelessness is the clarity that it's already done, that it's already finished, but not your idea of what finished or done is. It means that despite what the words or what is expressed here, that it cannot be changed. So this changelessness, this what isness, this simply not two-ness, this inseparableness is always permanently this. And what this permanence is has nothing to do with the ramblings of the mind or the thoughts that seems to arise or the questions that will definitely come in what's being expressed here. And the peace that's being expressed here does not need does not need any understanding at all. It passes all understanding because it appears as whatever it is. It can appear as chaos, it can appear as wildness. It's anarchy. It's anarchy. It always is what it is, no matter what it is. It's always as it is, no matter what seems to appear. It always what it is, no matter what seems not to appear. And in that, what's being expressed here is already complete. It's a closed chapter, but seemingly there's a longing for the written words that, or the spoken words that's being spoken here, to try to see if there's a clue, if there is a koan, if there is something that can be understood or acknowledged. But what's being spoken here does not require any kind of acceptance or even a rejection. So accept or reject as you might. There's already something that cannot be known. And this unknowableness is the oh, is the wow that has always been this way. That there's nothing that's needed. That it's always been this way, that there's nothing out of place. There's nothing out of place. Everything is already in perfection. Not your idea of perfection, not anybody's idea of perfection. It's despite of that. It's the freedom that does not require any permission. It's a freedom that does not require any acknowledgement. It's the freedom that does not require any ownership. The freedom that's being expressed here is undeniably free of any concepts or any kind of understanding. It's undeniably free of any undertaking. It's not a personal view of what freedom is. It's undeniably, unconditionally free already. And in this freedom, whatever seems to arise is free already. So if there's any questions about that, please go ahead. I have COVID again. But it's all right. It's all good. Hi, Steve. Oh, I can't hear you though. But I look okay.
How about now?
Oh yeah, I
Can you
can hear you.
now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Um, so all of the I hope you feel better soon too.
I do. I do actually right
I
now.
just
I
got
feel
over a
really
cold
great.
and
Really,
I
really
can
great.
feel
Yeah.
it.
There's just a lot of cough and a lot of
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but it's good.
So
I have some tea.
the this with the capital T, or what is,
Yes.
or that which can't be known,
Yes.
or any of the various ways that you just referred to what
Yeah.
is, okay. Um, when in a, when there's an appearance that occurs,
Hmm.
or when when something is seen or is being seen, that is none other than what is.
That's also no matter what it is, it's always what is.
Okay,
Yeah.
but is going the other way, is
What's
what is silence the appearance.
yes.
In other words, does it subsume the appearance,
Hmm.
or is there a total equivalence?
Um, it is what it is, no matter what it is, appearance or non-appearance. It doesn't matter if there's an absence of appearance or no appearance. It's always what it is. It's almost like the default function, the default button, the blank, where everything seems to appear from, although there's nothing separate from it. So there's nothing separate. It's like this hand, for example, right? This hand has 5 fingers. This is all what is. So this could be seeking for this, but this is already what is. This is all this.
But there's no separation.
There's no separation outside of an idea of what separation is. Yeah.
Right.
It's just a thought. Yeah. It's just a concept.
But the appearance itself, are you saying the appearance itself is the entirety?
The appearance, the let's just put it this way. What is looking and what is being looked at is the same.
Right.
Yeah. So it's what is looking at what is. Even thinking that it's separate is also what is. So if there is, what's usually the basis usually when there is an idea that there's something separate is there's a witness, an observer.
Okay, okay, I
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's
But
also
what I'm
what
trying
is.
to
There's
say is that the terms silence, what is, have more of a generality to them,
yeah. Yeah.
and the specific appearances are more exemplary and instances
Yeah. So let's just let's
of
just
what
say
is.
let's just use that like for example there's a page on a book, right? So what seems to be appearing are these words that seems to appear. Um the page and the words that appear or the letters or the font and the ink and everything are the same.
But you wouldn't say the page is the book.
The book is also what is. It's always what
Well,
is
they
no matter
both,
what it is. Yeah.
but what I'm saying is they both are what is,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't want to characterize a page as being a book.
Again, there's just different definitions of something, different words of something that's whole. Again, if we take away all the words, like for example, a book, a page, a letter, a font, you know what I'm saying? And if it's a name, it's just what is. There's just the thinking that it's something that this is a book, this is a page, this is a word, this is whatever. So the moment that thinking happens, it seems to create this division of something that does not have any separateness.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm trying to really simplify it. I know you're going the opposite way, Steve.
Well, I'm
try
just
try to conceptualize something. It cannot be conceptualized, right? Because
no
even trying to figure out something is also what is. So even the thinking of trying to figure it out is also what ising.
right.
It's always what
Yeah,
is, no matter
yeah,
what it
I
is.
got it.
You got it. Okay, good, good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Take care.
Thank you. Oh, Sheer. Hi, Sheer. It's good to see Sheer.
Hi,
Hi,
it's
Sheer.
nice to see. Nice to
Nice to
see
see
you.
you too.
Yes. Emerson, I just think to ask you about the appearance. This one,
Yes.
this. Is this appearance is is without any process, isn't it? It's just this.
Yeah. This appearance is whole. So what
Yes,
seems
but
to
I
be,
mean,
yeah.
it's not no any process is inquiring. It's just
You don't need,
it's
no need
just
to inquire. Yeah.
yeah, it's just this.
It's just this. Yeah. It's so simple, right? It's just so
Yeah,
simple
yeah.
that it's often interpreted as something that is missing or something that it cannot be seen. But if there's a snapshot of this, it's this. There's no need to process what this is. It's
No,
like
this is
almost seeing it with innocent baby eyes, without any thoughts, without any concepts, without any ideas of what this is.
yes. I mean, this is all there is. There cannot be something else than this.
There's nothing outside of this. Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
is
It's so
it's
mind-boggling, right?
so
It's like, wow, it's this.
it's very simple, but still it's it's mentally. I just can say
Yeah, the moment that
that.
mental ideas come in, right? It obscures it. It creates this separate idea or this noise of something that is already silent.
I mean, whatever is just simply is. There is like this talking. There is nothing else than what this is, because this is whatever this is still is this,
Yes.
cannot be something else than this.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so simple that it just defies logic. It defies
Mm.
processing. It defies understanding. It
And then
defies it defies time. See,
mm,
if the moment that a mental function happens, there's a time that ticks with it, right? There's
mm,
a linearity of time that seems to appear that kind of like,
yes,
oh, okay, is this it? The moment that even someone says that this is it, then it's already not it.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
it is. This is and this is in the same time.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not.
Yeah, it
It's
is and it
it's
is not simultaneously, but it's hard to process that that's why it's so
yeah.
simple, right? You don't need to
There is
process
yeah.
that because the
No,
mental function will either say this is it or this is not it.
no, no,
So
because
both are illusory, yeah.
you cannot even you cannot see a process in this. This is all there is.
Exactly. It does not need to be
Yeah,
processed. Yeah, when it said it, it's just this,
yeah, yeah.
period. You
Just
know what I'm
this.
saying?
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then I think I'll ask you about the. I mean, all the feeling. The feeling.
Yeah.
Uh, the feeling is a thought, isn't it?
It is. It's a
All the feeling.
perception. It's a perception, yeah.
Yeah, is
Perception,
it?
senses, thoughts, it's just an appearance.
Yeah, but
It's just
it's
an
thought,
idea, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
thought, because there is no way how you call it, there is no way you can feel something without knowing of that,
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
There's no reference to anything.
no, because you name it, there's no
Yeah.
way,
It's
yeah,
an automatic labeling of something that it cannot be labeled.
yeah, because it,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sher. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you, really. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Pancho.
Thank you.
Hi, Pancho. Hello. I like the name. Pancho. Oh, I can't hear you though, Pancho. You have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I am from Mauritius. Yeah, enlightenment, can we define it as enlightenment is not needing anything to be other than what it is.
Oh, can I define not needing anything?
Not needing anything to be other than what it is.
Yeah. What's being expressed here is the completeness. That whatever seems to appear is already what it is. So even a need that comes is also what is, or not need might arise, that's also what is. So whatever seems to appear is already complete. There's nothing really lacking. Even the idea that there's something lacking is already the completeness appearing as a lack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Others,
So there's
other
really
teachers
nothing
say
needed.
to be,
Yeah.
or to be okay with whatever happens.
To be okay and not to be okay. You know, saying it's the same thing. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay whatever it is. It's it's the universal okayness. Universally
And
okay.
enlightenment, can we say it, to get that there is nothing to get?
You can also you can also say that, yeah. Getting that there's nothing needed, getting that there's nothing, but there's also yeah. It already is no matter what it is. Even if there's an idea of getting what it is, that's also what is. Yeah. So it does not have anything to do with any kind of like mental function. Mental function will seemingly can like create, this opposition, right? I got it or I don't get this. It's the same thing. Because there's no one behind it really. The moment that there is a mental faculty that appears, then that creates an illusory too. That creates an illusory perceiver. That creates an illusory observer. So the observer and the observed is the same. The perception and the perceived is the same.
Oneness.
I don't use that word, but you can use that if you like.
What?
Being okay with that too. That's okay. Noneness. I like noneness better.
Noneness.
Noneness. But it's just a word.
Why many teachers say things are happening by itself? I'm a physics teacher.
I
Things
have no
cannot
idea.
happen by themselves. The Newton's first law.
It's a very simple saying that there's no source to this.
But for me,
There's no opposite to it. There's no process. It's just happening.
But I feel that the mystery is doing it through us.
That seems to create that it's being created for you. That there is a you that the mystery is doing it for. That you're being animated by something, and then there's a separate animator and an animated. Which is okay, if that's what is believed, right? That's okay. But to be clear, there's nothing separate, right? So there's nothing being done to you. because there's no you to do it
And
for. Yeah.
we are
That's
we are
conceptually
being done.
yeah, that's a conceptual idea again of and that's okay and that's all right. It's just another wording of something that's a mystery. So when it's said that it's being done to you, then that's not really a mystery anymore, right? That's a almost like a way of saying that, oh yeah, it's being done to us. It's an acknowledgement of something that is deemed as truth, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just an idea. I used to think that um that the that I'm a spirit having a human experience. So that's very similar to that idea. When everything seemingly fell apart, there's no spirit, there's no human, there's no experience. It's just this. Just to really simplify, it just really simplifies something that sometimes can be really intoxicating for the seeker. It can create a two-ness or a divineness or a oneness, which is okay. That there is a sacred source, and that's okay too if that's what thought about, right? But it has nothing to do with what anyone thinks. It's just simply what it is, and it's more grand and humble, seemingly, when there's nothing behind it. But no one knows this, of course.
And about the question of free will, do we have free will?
Who is
The
going to
answer
have a free
seems to
will?
be there
Yeah,
is no one, there is no you to have free will.
yeah. There's a thought of free will, saying, there's this autonomous happening that's just seemingly appearing and everything, right? But there's really no one behind it. There's no free will for it there's no you for a free will to happen it too.
So for me, it is the same as things are just happening by the source.
Not really, because a source is just another thought, right? It's just almost like cutting it. It's just happening. It's just a simpler way of saying it's really dry. It's not that exciting. It's not that fantastical. It's not that, it's not like it doesn't create an awe or ah. It's just what is. And it almost shuts down this idea, this conceptualizing of something that cannot be conceptualized.
There is a very famous analogy. We are dream characters in God's dream.
That's another
God is
that's
dreaming this
another
universe.
wonderful fantastical idea of something that's just really clear. Let's just say, what if we just really kind of like just be blunt and just say it's like a dream. It's a dream. Because saying that we are characters having a God's dream is just another dream idea. It's going deeper into the dream. And again, I have nothing against God, you know what I'm saying? Please. It's but in the story of this character, it was very devotional and very intoxicated by the idea of that. And in the idea of that was a lot of suffering. Because it will posit that there is a God that has a free will and choice.
Let us forget the word God. We use the word mystery, the mystery.
Yes.
So the mystery is not
So,
physical.
so when you call God the mystery, then the mystery is over. It's not really a mystery anymore, right? Because it becomes an idea.
No,
It
but
becomes a solid idea of
let,
what it is.
let
Yeah.
us call it the unknown. The unknown. Okay.
Let's call it unknown. Okay, let's call it an unknown. Um,
unknown,
I don't have any
you
problem with
agree
God,
that
but the moment that the God is brought up into these meetings, it creates this cloud of knowing.
yeah,
And this cloud of knowing can be
yeah,
really heavy at times, right? It can be
yeah.
positions, it can be it can be triggering for some characters as something. Or it could be
Unknown
it
is
could be
nice.
it could go into the rabbit hole of, of godliness and all that kind of stuff. And it is what it is, saying again, there's nothing wrong or right about words and everything. But the moment that a big word like that lands into a conversation, then it becomes something.
Now, the unknown is not physical. You agree?
Sorry, repeat that again, Pancho.
The unknown,
The unknown is
the
great,
unknown
yeah.
is not
The
physical.
unknowable, yeah. But sometimes when the unknown, when it's attached, it becomes an idea of a being. It becomes idea of a deity. I know I'm nitpicking here, but when I see unknowable, it really means that. But the unknowable is this talking to this. The unknowable is talking to the unknowable right now. Not as a special thing, not as not as something separate, not as something more or less. It's just what is.
I mean, what I wanted to say, the unknown,
Yes.
it appears as the universe through the intermediate of consciousness. I mean, the unknown, it creates consciousness, it appears as consciousness, and then consciousness appears as a universe.
But that's a whole bunch of concept for something that's very simple, isn't it? If you listen to if you listen to my intro, I was trying to like simplify. And it's just really simplifying what is just really obvious. So what's overlooked, you know what I'm saying, is obscured by these big words like consciousness and all of these beautiful concepts about something that it cannot be conceptualized. It's very direct. This is very direct. It's not about anyone's idea. No offense to any of your ideas, but it has nothing to do with any ideas. I hope you don't take any offense. But yeah,
No.
it's just really kind of like clarifying that there's just the transparency of words as being empty, since no one has ever spoken any of this. The transparency of ideas being blank because no one has ever thought about this. Just transparency.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Emerson,
Oh,
hi.
hi. Oh, hello.
Kathy, hi.
Oh, hi, Kathy.
um, words, yeah, animated aliveness.
I like animated
Uh,
aliveness. Yeah.
yeah, I like it too. But anyway, oh, shit. You know what? I was at somebody else's channel this morning, and I was trying to formulate a sentence, and somebody else was butting in about you. Why, I don't know. I know this person, and he can step off. I can talk to him some other time. But the point I'm trying to make is what I'm trying to get to. And I'm so surprised you have a meeting on Tuesday instead of Sunday. But anyway, the closest Kathy, can come is breathing, digestion, blood flowing, elimination, those bodily functions, because I don't think about that shit at all. I mean, no, sometimes, no, yeah, somebody will say, oh, yeah, you got to get the blood flowing, eat some more, blah, 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 whatever. Somebody's always going to tell you something,
Yeah.
how to make your respiration better or your whatever. But that just comes without a thought.
Yes.
Even like, boom, I got a tumor. Comes without a thought. I'm not going around going, Jesus Christ, don't let me get a tumor. You know, boom, something just like that. There's no thought involved at all. My whole day is a freaking thought. Let's face it. And if you don't think throughout the day, then you're going to get in a big trouble. You know, you might go through a traffic light or something. Who the hell knows? You know,
Yeah,
the
there's nothing
whole
wrong with
day.
thoughts. There's nothing wrong with it
I know
whatsoever.
there's nothing.
Yeah.
I know there's nothing. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with thoughts. What
Okay.
I'm trying to say is the closest I can come to not being me, not recognizing whatever free will or free won't.
But there's already no you not to be not you.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, we've
So
got
there's no
this
being
argument.
anymore. You know what I'm
There's,
saying?
but
There's really no
for Christ's
being.
sakes, but for Christ's sakes, there's a being most of the day. Otherwise, you get into trouble. And I'm not going to outline it. Okay. But what happens in the physical form, what happens to the physical form is happening autonomously, no thoughts.
Hooray!
For me,
Imagine if you have to think about all the like, oh, my heart's not beating. I have to think about it.
I got to start breathing heavy.
My lungs is
No.
not, it's not producing air, right?
No.
My eyes are not blinking. Oh my goodness, you know.
But I'm just trying to say, so I'm trying to, what's happening is because I'm seeking. I know I'm seeking. Why would I go around to every freaking person's channel and listen to what they're saying? Oh, I like what he says. I even listened to somebody talking about non-dual devotion. I mean, for what? You know, there's a seeking. I'm going to admit there's a seeking. I'm not going to say I just keep looking for the loophole, which there is none. And you say that too. There's no loophole. There's nothing to get here. There's nothing you can understand or grasp even.
Yeah.
You can't and everybody says the same thing. Well, not everybody, but you know, you and Andreas and whomever I talk to, listen to. So there's nothing to get. There's nothing to get here. There's no me. There's no me. There's no me here. But you know, there's functioning going about the daily chores. But the only place I'm starting to rest right now and feel content is in the autonomous system that's going about, however it's going, and you know, I don't have.
Which includes thoughts. That's also autonomous, right? There's really no one choosing to think or not.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I know there's no one choosing to think, but the thoughts are awfully. What's the word I want to say? Personal. Yeah. I don't think you're having the same thoughts I'm having. Maybe around dinner time, you know, something like that. But most of the time, no, because the thoughts become, you know, who did you see yesterday? What happened? You know, whatever. You know, the thoughts are personalized. In a, you know, whatever. But anyway, so this is all I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say, you know, I'm going to just kind of be content and rest in that autonomousness that's happening. And, you know, everything else is just happening too. But, you know, it feels contrived, contracted. There's a me. But when I say, oh my God, you breathed all day. You've been breathing all day. And you didn't have to think once about it. You know, it's the only place I can go to. And other than that, I just, you know, I mean, that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Basically, there's just this autonomousness, and you know, what is you know, what is ising, whether you think or not. It's just what is. And
Just
it's
like I'm
not,
breathing, whether I
yeah, and
think or not.
it has nothing to do with you at all. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have anything to do with what you think of it or not think of it. It's the universal contentment, not your contentment, but it's always content, regardless
I
if
know.
you're
I
content or
know.
not content. It's just
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, but you know, like the
automatically
beloved.
content.
the beloved, the unconditional love, the automatically content, you know.
Yeah, now words, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Words.
Oh,
So
it doesn't, none of
yeah,
those words, none of those words, none of those words. Dis, I like a little bit. Dis, because you know, you can't really miss on that one. But all the other stuff, it's got all connotations. And it's very difficult, you know, to be in the place. Well, there's nobody to be and there's no place, but whatever. So anyway, so that's where I'm going from now on. I'm going to have to try to reduce the seeking, because that's, you know, I found my answer, you know, getting blown away. You know, I found my answer. I was like, this is it. This is it.
no matter
Right
what it
there,
is, it's
this.
always it. Yeah. It's like
Yeah,
it's like the heart beating, you know, it's always it.
exactly. It's always it.
Yeah. It's
That's
always it. No matter what
so
you do or not do, it's always it.
so I managed to like file it down to this really tiny little point that I think I'm going to be okay with now.
You're
And
okay.
I can stop what I've been doing, which is kind of like almost like an addiction, like anything else. You know,
Yeah.
always trying to find something. Always looking for something. I want something. I want the answer. There is no answer.
Which is
There's
also
no
an
answer.
answer. Um, it is what it is, and there's nothing that you can do or not do to 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 do this or undo this. It's already done. It's already. It's already full. It's already complete. It's already finished. But not your idea of what finished is.
No, because
Um,
that gives time to it, and
yeah.
there's no time.
Yeah.
There's no time. Yeah,
Yeah. So whatever seems to appear is perfectly as it is. Like your heart
yeah.
beating, like, you know, the autonomous happening in your body is just what is. There's nothing out of place.
Mm, yeah. Well, I guess I don't know. It's just something to do with all this, whatever, thinking, seeking, searching, looking, wanting, whatever. I saw this little thing on whatever internet. It was one of uh, the gurus. It was Satguru. You know, he does a million things, and he was holding somebody's hand, and he said, you know, if you know, you're tired, you can't find it, you keep looking for that answer, just hold my hand. And I thought, yeah, that's really all anybody could really give to anybody. Just, you know, a pat on the back. It's really nothing, you know, it's nothing to say, there's nothing, just nothing. So I just yeah, I don't know where to go anymore. Like I said, I'm just going to rest in the autonomous happening of the body and see where that goes. Yeah.
That's also it. Whatever it is, that's also it.
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
so simple that no matter where you think you are or you're not, it's always it. There's no one lost, so to speak.
Yeah.
Let me just let my doggy in. I'll be right back. Just a second. She's crying.
Yeah. That's this too. It too. The doggy crying.
The best cuddle bunny. When you have
Pretty. She's so cute. Yeah. Just reach out and cuddle your puppy.
yeah,
That's all.
yeah.
Yeah. That's all you can do. Yeah. I don't know. It just anyway. It's the way. That's. I was glad I saw you on TV on TV
On TV.
on the internet this afternoon, because I told you I got blown away this morning, and Chuck and Andrea, and I couldn't put together a story right. And I was trying to say, like, you see, the whole day. One time I was planning a trip. Do you have your glasses? Do you have your toothpaste? Do you have your blah, 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 blah? Thinking one thought after another. And then all
Just
of
like
a
heartbeats,
sudden,
doesn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
like the
Just like
heartbeat, but
breathing.
the heartbeat and the breath is neutral. This is all contaminated and contracted, or whatever the word is. And then you sit down on the bus to get to where you're going to, and boom, out of nowhere, comes like a blinding pain.
That's also it.
Yeah, I know that's
Yeah.
also it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there was no thought of it. There was no thought, there was no precept to it. Like
Yeah.
everything else seems to have a precept. Something comes before. There's just boom, like that. You're like, oh shit. Whatever. Things like that, something not caused by anything that caused it. It just comes blue,
Yes.
And in that sense, I can almost then I get to like, yeah, it's just happening. That's the only time it's just happening. The rest of the time, it feels like it's contorted, contrived, made up. Easy, easy squeezy lemon, whatever for you, but
It is what it
it's
is. Even that.
yeah.
That's what is as well. Yeah. And it's just really simple. It's really, really, it's all too simple. That's why it's overlooked all the time, right? Because what seems to be appearing is always what is, no matter what it is. And there's this seeming idea of it shouldn't be or should be. But it is what it is, even if it should or shouldn't be. It's just really simple. It's very direct.
It's like too, like it's always waiting for the glimpse again. The
Yeah.
glimpse satisfies you. Yeah,
But
it's
for
like,
who?
whoa.
Yeah.
For who? Yeah, for who? But
Yeah.
it's like then you can get into this whatever. The rest of the time in the appearance, there's a lot of zing, 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 zinging. There's shit going on all the time in the appearance.
Which is also it.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm saying but in the glimpse, it's this. It's this in the glimpse.
It's always this, even the glimpse.
I know.
There's no glimpse.
It's easy for you to say. It's easy for you to say. The rest of us are struggling, struggle with this. Sometimes I say, you know what? I just want to listen to music, and I got to stop and just put music on and just let listen to music. It's probably more than all this other crap that I do. Take notes. All
Again,
this
that's just all
nonsense.
autonomous, right? Listening to music, listening to this is just all autonomous.
What about this? What about all the notebooks?
And all the notebook, that's all autonomous too, yeah. Even if there's a thinking that there's someone doing it, and that's completely all
Or
right.
there's a
Yeah.
thinking, do I like that sentence? Or does
Yeah.
that fit into, oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's whole thinking going on. I'm not going to sit there and write everything. I have to like get inspired by something to write. But anyway, just it just like I said, I'm breathing and I'm digesting my food. That sounds so funny. So I'm happy. That's all I can ask for in this liberation, so-called liberation. All right. Okay. Thank you.
We have a Freddie here, and then we have Pancho. Go ahead, Freddie.
Hey, Emerson, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Good, good. So I just wanted to ask you something. I'm, trying to understand all this. I'm having a little bit of a problem understanding how all of us connect.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm saying
Yeah.
all this as a dream, and this is a dream, and
Yeah.
then you step back and then you go to that real self or conscious, or whatever you want to call it, where you
No
that
worries, no
perfect,
worries.
you
Yeah.
see everything. So you get that I don't know, that oneness or whatever, or that would be named. But how, how that connect to other people having the same experience? Because there's some other stories, some other supposedly me, but that also maybe trying
Yeah.
to go back, and what is this different consciousness going around
Yeah.
mixing together, or this one, that thing, and also are these dreams connected? Because something I do right now,
Yeah.
uh, it might affect you, for instance, or someone else,
Yeah.
in not only my dream but their dream as well. So
Yeah.
that interaction's like, I'm a little bit fuzzy on how to kind of think about it.
Well, let's just clarify that out. For example, if you're dreaming at night, right? You're dreaming at night and it feels absolutely real. You're dreaming at night, like just example that this is your dream at night. There's a whole bunch of people here in your dream, talking about, what is. Some people call it consciousness, some people call it whatever. You think that there is connection and everything, that people are having different dreams and everything. But the moment that you wake up in the nighttime dream, did it any of this matter at all? Or is it just a dream?
Yeah, just a dream, didn't matter.
Yeah, that's the answer. It's just all a dream. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Because it's easy to get caught up in the ideas of, it's like this. There's really no other, because you can't jump into someone's thoughts and confirm that there's another. This will look like there's, like, I don't know, many people here, but you can't confirm that there are others, because you can't, like in a dream, you can't jump into someone's dream and say, "Hey, Freddie, I saw you in my dream last night. You were talking about consciousness."
Right.
So there's no other dream. There's only a dream.
Wait, but I'm trying to use that like comparison that you're making with the real dream, when with the dream I would have at night. When I have that dream and I wake up and then I remember, oh yeah, that was all a dream, nothing really mattered. Now if I'm in this dream right now that we are, and I wake up, or someone's, I don't know, this me dissipates, or whatever that we're trying to do here happen. Basically, you that being or that awareness realize something, or it doesn't really realize anything, because that would be a thought, right? So
So
basically,
let me go back into what I was saying. So in your
uh,
dream, how many dreamers are there in your dream?
it's just me.
Exactly. So there are no others. There are no others aside from the dream of others. But let me just put my doggy outside because she's trying to take over now. Just a second. And it's just really simple as that. That there are really no others. Others is just a dream. Any kind of separation is just a dream. And it's just really, really that simple. Not to believe it, because believing is also a dream. Thinking is also a dream. Perception is also a dream. Anything that seems to come up is an illusion. So even reality is a dream. There's no solidity to any of this.
Mm.
So it's easy to get
So
caught up. It's such a perfect illusion, right? So it's easy to get caught up. If you think that there are others, the moment that you talk to that person, um, or even think that there are other ideas and everything, it can be very, very expansive.
I could say that it's like when you wake up of this dream and then you step back to the real reality, let's call it, then
When there's awakeness, it's just seeing that it's just a dream, that there are no others really. Any idea of the dreamer, you know, any ideas like awareness or whatever, it's just a dream. Any thoughts, any concepts, basically.
so we could say that awareness of that that happens when you step back is the same awareness that
Yeah.
other supposed people are having. So it's kind of the
There's no
one.
other people. There's no other people, you know, aside from your awareness of it or your thought or your perception of it.
Mhm.
But what if the perceiver is a dream? So everything that it perceives is also illusory.
Right.
Yeah.
So in a sense, it's like that everything or this or whatever we're calling it,
Yeah.
having these dreams is almost like a way of this talking to itself, like having all these dreams is just like almost a conversation that is having with
Yeah,
himself.
it's just wholeness, or you know, or noneness, you know what I'm saying? Seemingly, you know, having a conversation right now about dreams and everything like that, right? But everything that's ever, you know, even said in this appearance is just a dream speak.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like an awareness trying to be aware of itself kind of thing. Like it's just having
Then
this
that's just another
interaction with the
concept, right? A concept trying to be aware of a concept.
Mm.
Yeah. It just leads to more confusion of something that's already directly clear. That there's nothing really, you know, there's nothing really separate. So in any ideas that seems to arise, you know, trying to figure this out, or any doing for that matter, being aware of aware is just another illusion. So when all of that shackles of ideas or confusion seems to arise of something that's already clear, then there's really no doing anything. If doing happens, that's also it doesn't really matter, right? But it just leads more into an understanding of something that does not need to be understood, that doesn't need any awareness of.
Right.
If you ask like a toddler or a baby, innocent, is it aware of awareness?
You know.
Yeah. If you look at a cat or a dog, is it aware of awareness?
Doesn't look like. Okay, so basically, well, everything I'm
Yeah.
saying right now is still thoughts.
Yes.
So all
Yeah.
that logic is
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
always come back to that
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
principle. Okay.
Okay.
I'll try to just that.
All right. Pancho.
Since everything is it, then all the crimes, the torture, the wars, the rape, are it too.
Of course. Yeah.
But
Everything.
to the mind, difficult to digest.
Well, there's an idea of what it is, right? Again, it's not about an idea. It's not a concept. There's a concept of right and wrong. There's a concept of morality and ethics and all that kind of stuff like that. But it's always it, no matter what you think of it.
Everything is perfect just as it is. Then
It's everything is perfect, that but not your definition of what perfect is.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Govinda.
Hi.
Hello, how
Oh.
are you?
Hi,
Hello.
Emerson.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Likewise.
I really like your videos and your talking.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I'm. It sounded like you also had experience with the spiritual things. That you have a spiritual background with
Yeah.
these things, and I'm very much into it also.
Yeah.
like sitting in silence, deconditioning and these things, and I'm maybe a little stuck there, maybe.
Yeah. Well, there's really no one really stuck, right? It's just what is appearing as conditioning or whatever, deconditioning. Um, what is being expressed here is a direct seeing of what is already. It does not need anything that seems to create this idea that it's missing it. It always what it is, and there's nothing wrong or right about, sitting in, space or whatever. I'm not sure what you do because there's really no one choosing. It's autonomous. There's this automaticness in what seems to appear, and it's there's no one doing it or not doing it. But what is being expressed here is the direct. Directly, it is already.
So you would say there's no deconditioning necessary?
Who is it to decondition? What is it to decondition from? Deconditioning might happen, and that's completely all right. It's
But
perfect as it is, no matter what it is.
okay. Yeah. Mind is going blank.
Hooray.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Come back. Come back and talk some more if you like.
Thanks.
Forrest. Hey, Forrest.
Hey Emerson.
Hello.
Uh, because I wasn't listening to your video for a while.
Yeah.
I just finished my midterm, and
Yes.
today, I mean, no, day before yesterday, there was a glimpse, like a apparent glimpse, a little bit, like for 2 hours or something,
Yes.
and I felt like there's no man behind me, there's no a forest behind me. Then I watched your video about you and Dr. Lila talking about on science. That was pretty, that's never been this relatable.
Yeah.
But I think the glimpse just gone, just just back to normal. The normal, although it's not normal, right?
Yeah, but the glimpse is just another idea of something that always is. So what seems to be glimpse is the emptiness of it all. The absence of the idea of what this should be. So what's being expressed is it's always this, no matter what it is.
Yeah. And then in that second, I feel like there's no controller for my, even though moving your fingers, there's no controller behind it. Yeah.
That's the same as there's no one controlling your heartbeat or your eyes blinking or your lungs happening or your
It is.
kidneys functioning. It's just all autonomous. Even the
Yeah.
thoughts that seem to appear are all autonomous, right? So there's and what seems to appear is just the absence of ideas that you are doing any of this or you're not doing any of this, which is just ideas.
Yeah. Just my thoughts are coming out of nowhere, and it's not coming out
Yeah.
by
And there's
prompting
really
me.
no one behind the thoughts, kind of like what you saw in
Yeah.
that
And
glimpse. Yeah, there's no one thinking any of this.
yeah, yesterday, after I wake up, there's so much random thought. Like I never watched any like celebrity or something, but then a thought of one celebrity come out. That's my that and it's so unrelatable, so random. So I suddenly feel like the thoughts are just, it's like so random.
They are, you know what, and it's just what seems to appear. There's no permanent thought, isn't it? There's no continuous thought. It's just what seems to appear, and they're not even really even there. They're very ephemeral, you know, they're nothing really.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right, Forrest. We'll see you this weekend, I think, if you're coming.
This weekend, I'm in Toronto.
With Vic. I'll call you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. Maria. Hello, Maria. What's up? How are you?
I'm really good.
That video that you sent was funny. I've seen it.
Oh, you've seen all 3 episodes? Yeah.
Yeah.
Crack. Love it. Um, uh, that one's particularly unhinged.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but we'll talk about it. There is like, I was walking home and I was like, oh, maybe I'll join the call tonight. And then I was like, I don't need to.
Perfect.
It's like, yeah, the kind of like there's like it's like everything's becoming a bit more 2D, if that makes sense. Like
yeah.
yeah. Like before the movie is very like Dolby surround, or like that ride at Disney World where you're like in the space thing and
It's almost
moving.
like being intoxicated, you know what I'm saying, with the illusion,
Yeah.
right? You know, there's this, it's like a circus.
Yeah, exactly. And everything, because the kind of the feelings and the images and the words are so, they just create this reality that feels really juicy and like really 3-dimensional kind of. And now it's kind of like the waves come up and some of them feel really real still, but more and more it's kind of like, oh, okay, like, oh, yeah,
Hooray, yeah.
yeah.
Because it
And
will still appear, it will still arise, whatever it is, right? But it's also what is. So there's really no more separation to what seems to appear.
yeah, and I think what for me it's also about not being afraid of feeling shitty anymore.
Perfect.
Yeah, like that for me is the biggest thing. Like,
Because that's also what is, you know, feeling shitty and all that kind of stuff, right? So
yeah, but I think I was trying to like conceptualize it being it as another way to get rid of it. And that's also it. But it's kind of this like the pain and the joy of no escape. Like there's just no way out. Like I've tried everything. The other night I was lying in bed again. I'd had a really nice treatment, a health treatment thing, but my nervous system was all the stuff. My thoughts were spinning, and it was just like, so what? Like, and not like so what, like grin and bear it, but kind of just like a curiosity, like just like I can't fucking fight anymore. What if this is also it?
it always is.
Yeah,
It always is. And it's almost like, you know, I was talking to someone. It's almost like the character has been beaten out of submission, that it can't do anything.
exactly.
It can't, there's no control. It can't manipulate things anymore. And that's what the psychological suffering is, that thinking that it can do something else, that it can avoid it. that it
Yeah.
can, and that's the whole industry of spiritual seeking is
Oh,
seemingly to kind of like, create this alleviation of suffering, but it actually reinforces it over and over again by
yeah.
maintaining it, by avoiding it, or by thinking that something can be done about it. It is what it is now. And again, that's perfectly all right. But when someone gets out of the circus, then it's like, okay, that was just another ride. If you want to get out of the circus, what spirituality offers is just another ride. It will
And I
never get
think
you
that,
out. Yeah.
yeah, and that like before I was using it's just a ride as another way to repress stuff, like, and
Yes.
stuff like, oh, it's just a dream and blah blah blah, and was just another concept.
It's
And
all
it,
concepts. It's all
yeah,
concepts. Yeah.
but in the kind of opening to the rawness, although I know there's no one opening, but an opening seems to be more and more happening.
Yeah.
This openness to the rawness of the experience of everything that comes up, and then just it's not that bad. That's the thing that's such a, like, anger and depression, and it's just some sensations.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And there was this character that used to repress that or hide that
Yeah,
and try to do something about it. And a friend of mine would say that you have all the tool belts and everything, right? But those tool belts are just maintenance.
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's this weird thing where, like, I'll still sometimes tap, or I'll do yoga, or I'll do, but it's like it's just another experience now.
It is. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong or right about it. If somebody does yin yoga, it's really relaxing. I like it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But before, what I thought it was a part of my spiritual sadhana part,
exactly.
and it was something that I was doing to make myself better. If I,
Exactly.
and just really using it as a spiritual practice. It was all practice, 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 because I thought I was not perfect. You know what they
Exactly.
say, practice until you're perfect, and that's all I did.
And yeah, exactly. And just like
It's like the undefined perfection is practicing perfection when it's already perfect.
yeah, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
And it's exhausting, and um like just even the really subtle thing of anger coming up, and then doing something to, like, process the anger or get rid of the anger, and it all it does is create a relationship with anger that makes anger a thing. And now anger, and it's kind of this where when it's like, you know what it is, it's like, because everything is the mystery, there's no mysticism anymore, if that makes sense.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. I got it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
like there's this, like,
It's like you sobered up from all of that
yeah, yeah,
mysticism. Yeah.
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 And the mysticism is this nebulous cloud that,
Oh yeah.
that is kind of like, oh well, someone knows better than me, and
Yes.
I'll just follow them because they have the thing that's all mysterious and the key. And it's just like, no, it's like, it's all very logical in how things work, even like the physiology of it, the even how trauma works, like, it's a physiological response to something that's happened in the brain, blah blah blah, but there's nothing, like, mysterious about it. And yeah, so it's like sobering up.
It
Yeah,
is. It is. This kind of talks, you know what I'm saying, when it's really just direct, seemingly, right? It reminds me of being in a festival and seeing that harm reduction table for people that wants to sober up, if you know what I mean, right? You know, like
Yeah,
all
yeah,
of
yeah.
this intoxicating stuff. And so when somebody wants out of the intoxication, they go to this harm reduction stand and basically say, okay, what am I ingesting? What am I doing and everything? And they're like, okay, it's basically, it's kind of like seeing clearly now what seems to be appearing. So when it wants to leave the festival, then it can leave the festival. Because if you just keep on doing, you know, if you just keep on going for another dealer, they will just give you more drugs.
Well, and I definitely approached you as a new dealer
Yes, and
when I first started
that's right.
coming to
Yeah,
these meetings, for
yeah,
sure. Like it was like, oh, he's got, and for a really long time too. It was like, oh, Emerson special. He's seen something special.
yeah,
And I almost wanted to write you an email the other day, be like, I'm not going to come to your meetings anymore, but can we just be pals? And like,
yeah.
I was like, because it was like, I am like, oh yeah, like,
You're sober
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and yeah.
hooray.
And you know what's funny is like, my creative output has
Mhm.
exploded.
Yes, yes. Actually, it's funny. Someone wrote me a letter and actually sent me a music. This character was watching one of the one-on-one videos, right? And he basically said, "Oh my goodness, it's so simple." I have to respond to that person if he's listening to this. He said it's so simple. It's like, oh my goodness, 6 years of celibacy, you know what I'm saying, and everything. And he goes celibacy, vegetarianism, yoga, spirituality, all that kind of stuff. You know, he was just mentioning it. He goes, I'll call you after I get laid this weekend after my rare steak, medium rare steak. And here's some music that I made, you know, saying because it's just creativity. It's just creativity when that creativity is seemingly caught up in the seeking of what is already, and it misses, overlooks their creativity as it.
Yeah, dude. And also like
Did
I'm
you have you
now
gone viral yet with your porpoise
my
video?
life's porpoise.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm writing a rap song that I think you're gonna really love.
Yes.
About grifting gurus.
Yeah.
Um,
That
one
you
of the
know
lines
that
is,
twin flame thing is such a major grift. That holy
dude,
crow.
he's one of my inspirations for the one of the characters in
Yeah.
the song. But like, oh man, that shit is. And you know what was funny about that as well is that they were using that like mirroring exercise
Yeah.
is so similar to the work of Byron Katie, and I was like, fuck, like I have been there.
Yeah. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Even the grift is it. And but
Sure.
it's but what this is like it's like almost like a recovery from that. But there's no one to recover from. No one recovering from. It's just a recovery. It's
Right.
clear
Yeah.
seeing basically without any more intoxication. And
Yeah. No, and there's not really any anger necessarily towards it. It's more just like fascination now as well.
yeah, I
Like
call it
yeah.
it's like curiousness now, right? There's a curiousness to what is. It's like, oh wow, this is just it's so wow too though. You know what I'm saying? It's bland,
Yeah.
but it's wow. It's ordinary, but it's wow. It's like me walking around in the morning, you know what I'm saying? It's like the highlight of just like walking, you know, in walking with my doggy. And that's it, really. It's just it seems really boring, but the ordinary is very extraordinary.
Yeah, and before I would have heard what you just said as like, oh my God, he's experiencing like ecstatic bliss when he's walking his dog, and like I don't have that and blah blah. But it's like for me, it was, right now at the moment, it's like I'm just writing and being creative, and I just feel like
Yeah.
I have my life back because
Yes.
before all I was doing was spiritual practice all fucking day, and I was miserable, and part of the reason I was miserable is because I wasn't doing what I love. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
And now
Yeah.
it's just like I can watch comedy, which is all I really want to do,
It's
and
just so
write, you
open
know?
now, right? It's just this
Yeah.
openness. It's wow. And it's nothing special. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? It's everything that you've longed for.
It's just very full.
It's full. Yes.
And it doesn't matter where it's pointed, which is cool.
All
the
right.
fullness. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm enlightened. Great. Anyway, I'll shut
We'll
up.
chat soon. We'll chat soon, my
Yeah.
friend. All
Bye.
right. Bye. Pancho. Hi, Pancho.
Uh,
Hello.
enlightenment is the end of seeking.
Enlightenment is a word, so is seeking.
When we so what this is what we long for, not seeking.
It's just
Not
the
seeking
clarity that
anymore.
there is no one seeking and there's no enlightenment. It already is. The simplicity of it all, the obviousness that it's already whatever it is.
So the teacher said we are all already enlightened, but we are not aware of it.
No, there's no awareness of it because it's not something to be aware of. It already is. It does not require any awareness or any realization. It already is. It's not a next event. It's not something that will happen next. This is it. But not for your idea of what it is. It's the absence of you. And the fullness of you simultaneously. Although there's no you. Just fullness or blankness.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Pancho. I have a bunch of questions here. Sorry, I forgot to oh, okay. The absence of appearance is also an appearance of absence. Yes. Everything in the movies is the movie. Yes, beautiful. So it's confusing itself, annoying itself, and there's no itself. Yes. It's just what is. What do you call what is nothing? You can't really call it anything. And again, calling it something, even calling it nothing, is too much. It can't be called anything. No matter what you do or don't do, it's all the same. It's just a doing or not doing, and there's no you doing any of it. It's just what ising. Missing the mysticism, yes, all dealers for me, steak and sex, so many paths presented. Just am walking Bella, yes. Don't read this out loud. Okay, I won't. Nick, that's so funny. I did. You're such a jokester. Freddie. Hi, Freddie.
Hey,
No worry.
I have a comment.
Keep it coming.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I don't know if other people might relate to that, if a similar experience, but I think you had like experience in the past with like mushrooms or other psychedelics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think for a lot of people that got into this kind of search, it started like that, like maybe they saw something on this journey. Oh, there's something real here that I need to explore, right? And that's at least how it started for me, right? Like I've done some meditation, and then this journey happened, and then oh, okay, I see what these glimpses are. I know there's something there that I have to kind of understand better, and from there, I got deeper and deeper. So the reason I'm mentioning this is because when I had that journey, and I'm curious if you had similar experience in the past, was one of those big deep journeys with headphones in, eyes closed, super deep, where complete loss of self and the feeling of oneness, the whole thing. And I remember the whole experience as a very beautiful. Most of the stuff that happened very calming, and that spirit, that feeling of oneness was, was huge and beautiful. But then a couple of weeks ago, I had another experience which I was actually unintended. Because when I had that experience, I decided, you know what, I don't need to do this again. This is it. I mean, I got what I wanted for. I think there's a saying that Alan Watts says, something like that. If God calls you and gives you the message, then you hang up, kind of thing. Like, I got it, so I don't need to come back to that. At least in that sense, right? Of feeling of oneness. But then I had this experience that it was very weird because it was just with THC, just like a tea, just a simple tea, nothing, I was just listening to music, and I normally don't do that, but I had some that my brother had left here when he came to visit, and he said, let's listen to some classical music. I put the music and just relax. But then the thing went so deep. It went just like the mushroom trip again. The music got like super, like it was coming from a different realm. The whole thing that probably a lot of people experienced when during that trip, right? So at some point I was back into that journey again, like it never ended. It was like it's still going, and I felt that sense of time not moving, right? Time stopping, and suddenly I was there again, and I was here, I was everywhere, and I got it. That feeling like, okay, understand that awareness, understands itself, and is at the same time is not understanding anything. That thing that I felt, and I've forgotten that I felt in the first journey too. Like it was almost like seeing the fabric of the universe, but you are the fabric of the universe at the same time. But there's no fabric either, and it just keeps like evolving, and you see all these patterns of colors that people sometimes mention and think kind of each point or each particle kind of seeing itself and being aware of itself, and then things start shifting. But while all this was happening, there was still some sense of myself, of Freddy, like I could see my room a little bit if I open my eyes, I see, and so it didn't feel like a full oneness. It felt a full non-dual thing. It felt like it was a little bit
It's not about getting
dualism.
rid of Freddy, right? Because there's really no
Yeah.
Freddy. The sense of Freddy is also what is.
Mm.
That's also what is, right? So this is the same as that. You just have a different idea of what this is right now.
Right. So that's what I was trying to figure out on that moment. Like, why still I'm seeing here, like there was a little bit of awareness of coming from my supposed self, right? My little me, or inside of this, like there were like two voices at the same time.
Yeah, but that's just another thought about that, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I didn't remember when I was in the experience. I was thinking, I hope I remember this when I come out of this, because
Yeah.
it's just
So when you
real.
think about it, then it becomes another story, right? So it's just
Right,
another
right.
story. So that story becomes a story, can present itself as like a higher. It's a story of separation again. So anything
Yeah.
that is thought of, you know what I'm saying, becomes another story of you being separate, or you kind of like, and it always includes a you. There's always a storyteller. So what's being presented here, what's being expressed here, there's really no storyteller.
Mm.
Yeah.
Um, when this happens though, when I have this supposedly clarity, right, where I see that what I want I'm wondering if you have that experience sometimes, or anybody else, like you're feeling like you are the
There's
awareness,
always
awareness
clarity.
itself,
There's always clarity, and the
yeah,
words
there's a
that just. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, sorry, yeah, there was a clarity also in that moment, and there was a lot of laughter too. Like I was laughing a lot on just because it's oh, this is so obvious, this is so funny, and it felt infinite, and that was a scary part. It felt like it was just forever there, like time wasn't moving, like there wasn't any time actually, and everything was connected, and it felt like it took hours and hours of years maybe that I was in that sense. And at some point I got a little anxiety, like I'm tired of this.
Yeah,
I just want to
yeah,
come back
yeah.
to to my world or to this reality, and then I could see how everything was kind of trying to build this reality for me from this chaos, little by little, and it keep fading away, keep going, and eventually it kind of solidified, and I came back here. And when I came back, I was aware of everything that happened, and I didn't have any sense of wanting to seek again. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw the fabric of the video. I don't
Yeah.
wanna. I'm happy
Yeah,
here
of
right now. I don't
course, of
wanna come
course,
back
of course.
there.
Yeah. Well,
And it
it's
was
like
kind of scary.
have you ever had a dream like that? That it was just so fantastical and everything that it was just like it's very similar to that. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you dream that you had dream for like it's like I used to dream of a whole lifetime.
Hmm.
And it was just so amazing and everything. And then you wake up, you're like, oh wow, I want that again. It's still a dream, you know what I'm saying? So it can present
Yeah,
as this
yeah.
fantastical idea of seeing the fabric of the universe, but who knows that?
It's tough because it really feels like right now I'm very aware that everything is a dream right
Yeah,
now. Even
yeah,
right now, sometimes,
yeah,
but not from the perspective that we usually talk, like,
yeah.
kind of understand it, that what happened. But I'm aware because I remember this experience and I remember very clear how I was coming back to that, and
Of
I needed
course.
it
Yeah,
because the real reality was just too overwhelming for this to bear. So
of course,
I needed
yeah.
a
So it
story to
becomes
say
it
that.
when it becomes a preference, then the perceiver, what the preference is, becomes this new kind of like almost like um a new benchmark, saying of what it should be. And it creates this illusion that there's something lacking now. But what's being expressed here is that there's nothing different from that and this right now. There's just a perception of that. It's just a perception of what seems to appear. Because I've
Yeah.
done so much, I've done, in my seeking days, I've done a lot of psychedelics as well, right? And I get caught up in that, like I want that experience. I even did ayahuasca trips, where you would go for 5 days, or I don't know if you've tried one of those, but it's like,
No, no, I only done these two trips, and it wasn't even intended to be
yeah.
that.
So whatever seems to appear in a trip, begins and ends, which is an illusion. So what's being talked about here never ends.
Yeah, that's the thing. The second
Yeah.
dream felt like it was connected to the first. It was like I was back to the
Yeah.
first story. That's what it feels so real. It feels like when I was in the dream. I don't
Yeah.
know who. There's a teacher also online that says that a lot. Like it felt more real than real. Like
Yes. But according
even
to who though?
to in that moment to it felt to like
Uh,
everything was feeling that like it was
yeah.
just
And
one.
I'm not trying to discount your experience, like hooray, that's pretty awesome, and everything. But what's being talked about here is almost like the sobriety of that. It's almost like it can get intoxicating, aside that it's a trip and everything, right? When I was doing that for quite a while, again, there's nothing wrong or right about that, right? It's just what is as well. There was this longing for kind of like a permanence of those experiences sometimes.
Mhm.
Um, and it just propels the seeking.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The opposite happened with this experience. The first
Okay.
experience, yes, I had that feeling of oneness, of beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't really need to come back to that because I
Yeah.
felt like I saw it. I know it's there.
Yeah.
But now when I have this experience, I really don't want to come back to that because it was kind of like I rather stay here. And since I had that, I haven't really done any meditation, which I normally do every day.
Oh, then
I
hooray. Then
haven't done
that's
I haven't
that's
done
that's
anything because
yeah.
it's like I don't wanna
Yeah.
get there
Yeah.
again. It feels like almost like a fear of I know
Oh,
what
I
this
get
is.
it. I get it. I get
I
it.
don't wanna be there
It's
again.
it's
Um
almost like you've seen that it's unknowable, that it's pointless to try to,
yes.
okay, I
Kind of
got
that
it. Yeah,
from a
yeah.
different perspective, because I think it feels a little bit like what you're talking about here, but I felt like
Yeah.
I saw it in a more like a fearful perspective, like, oh, that was just too
I
overwhelming. I'll
see.
be there.
Yeah.
I'll stay here, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. Well, this
Scream.
is the same. This is also the unknowable. So it's not different from that. It can't be
Mhm.
known. So it's almost like you just saw there's no reality, but the reality that it's unknowable. And it became kind of like almost fearful because it's like, oh wow, what's that, right? But this is the
Yeah.
same. This is the unknowable. But the unknowable is fearing the unknowable, which is just the unknowable, meaning that there's no separate. Let me just let my dog in. Sorry, she's going a little bit crazy here now. Sorry about that, Freddie. I have this unknowable puppy here that is keeping but yeah, it is what it is, right? So that's quite, it's almost like glimpsing, when when you're in that THC experience. And I've talked to a lot of people in psychedelics lately. It's kind of funny. I've talked to people that have done DMT and everything. And but what seems to present over and over again is that that there is a longing more, and you're the opposite, which is great. Like it's almost stopped your seeking in that, because it's almost like you're like, okay, there's nothing other than this, and it's just what is already. And this is the
Yeah.
same now, basically, as what is. It's almost like you got struck sober.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah,
almost on the other side where I'm not normally last few weeks I felt like I was doing progress. Like I know that's a
yeah,
that's not,
yeah.
it felt like I was at least more time being aware of the awareness, let's say,
Yeah,
more often, which feels like some kind of progress, at least
yeah,
to this stuff, because it felt like I wasn't struggling with many things.
yeah. What if we conceptualize that? And this is just a suggestion, right? It's not to correct or anything like that. And just take away that languaging and just saying that it's just what is. Then it takes away the duality of what seems to appear. There's no one that's being aware anymore. There's no one that need to, it's not a state. It's what I'm trying to say. It's always this. There's no, it's not a knowledge from someone else. It's just what is.
Mm,
It's just almost like the transparency, the directness of what it is. That it's not something that's missing, right? Because there's going to be, meaning that whatever seems to appear is what it is. It's not a special state anymore. It's not a special attainment. It's almost like the complacency. It's almost like the clarity that is just the sobriety of it all.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you always can step back and back and back and back and kind of it almost feel like an infinite deja vu, like,
It
I'm
it
thinking,
is.
okay,
It is. It's
this is
it's
no, but
it's
this is, and so on, and at some point it's like you freeze, and
yeah.
yeah.
I went to this I talked to a couple of creators that does a lot of DMT content and everything, and have some really crazy ones that I did ayahuasca and everything. And but it comes to the bottom of it. The bottom of it is that it's always this. Sometimes, seeking, enlightenment through substances and psychedelics, there's nothing wrong or right about that. I neither recommend it or approve, what I'm saying? It's just what it is.
Mm,
Is when it's seen that it becomes a form of seeking, then it becomes that there's something missing. So it longs for that experience of heightened experiences and everything, which is similar to, satsangs and everything like that, right? It becomes this idea of what it should be, that it overlooks the majesty of the ordinary.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like me walking down I'm still fascinated by this. I walk down and I hear a crunch underneath my feet, and I see that the grass are beginning to freeze, right? So you look at the fractals of the infinite and the ice forming in the grass, and I can get caught up in that looking for 20 minutes. And that's often overlooked. Or just the sweetness of just this feeling of whatever seems to arise, walking. It's just very ordinary. So it plateaus all of the seeming kind of like, seemingly kind of like, because it I used to try to escape what is by trying to create an experience that was either, high or psychedelia. And there's nothing wrong or right about that, right? So the way that I explain it to characters, when there is contentment here, then it's always looking at what is. What is always looking at what is, and it's not even looking at what is. It is what is. Simple. But we'll chat more, Freddie.
Yeah,
I like that sharing. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you so much. Pancho, go ahead, Pancho.
Since everything is it,
Yeah.
the ego is it too.
But there's no
The
ego. But if you
separation
think
is
that
it
there's
too.
an ego, then that's it too. Yeah.
The separation is it too. The separation is it.
Any ideas is seemingly just ideas of what is, right? So it's always it, no matter what it is. Even your ideas, even but all ideas are empty. They're all illusory, right? So there's really nothing separate. There's really no ego. It's just what is, appearing as whatever it seems. Yeah.
Many teachers use the word empty, but maybe can you say, what does it mean by empty?
It doesn't really mean anything. It's really pointless to try to say something about empty, because it becomes something. It's not empty anymore. There's nothing that can be said about it. It's just it's an attempt to discuss something that cannot be discussed. So we'll say that it's empty, that it's nothing, that it's it can't be known, really. It's unknowable. It's empty. It's meaning it's free of ideas. But even empty is an idea. But it's emptier than other ideas.
In fact, the seeking veils it.
I'm sorry.
The seeking veils it.
The seeking is it, but there's no
No,
seek.
no. The seeking veils it.
Oh, seemingly in the
Veil.
story, yeah. The seeking overlooks it over and over and over again, right? Because what seems to be hidden, what seems to be sought, seems to be tricky, because it appears in everything. So there's nothing really hidden. So there's nothing to seek, because it is already in everything. There's nothing that's not it. So the seeking, the illusory seeking, thinks that there's something missing. When there's nothing missing, it's already it. Everything is completely as it is already.
It is hiding in plain sight.
Yes, it's hiding. Seeming, it's not even hidden. It's in plain sight. It's direct. It's direct. Like this puppy that requires play. Thank you. Oh, Corey, and then Maria. Hi, Corey.
Hello, Emerson.
Hello,
Hi.
how are you doing? It's good to
Yeah,
see
nice
you.
to see you. Yeah, you
Lovely in
too.
pink there.
Oh, do you like my pink? My favorite color.
Yes. Ah, that's awesome. I
Makes
like
the
it.
makes the boys wink. No, yeah, just wanted to say hello and just yeah, a little bit of confusion because people from time to time say how they don't need to do such and such anymore, like some sort of I don't know, something to help the physical body that's not necessary anymore. And then you've kind of backed that up by saying yes, because it actually affirms the me there that needs to be something needs to be for the me. So there's those two things, and yet at the same time, it's like when people say they don't need to do this anymore.
Yeah.
It seems like they've achieved something or something, they're nearer.
Yeah. It seems that way, but it's like a loss. It's like a loss, right? It's not an attainment, so it's always a loss of identification with what seems to be. For example, somebody says that, oh, I no longer meditate. So it's almost like it already is. So there's no need to it's a form of seeking what seems to appear, like meditation. So it's seeking no longer happens, meditation no longer happens. It is what it is already. So it's more like a loss, not an attainment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you say it's identifying with the me, in other words.
Yeah.
Which to me doesn't sound as though that's a good thing to do. So
Yeah.
it's a bit
It
confusing.
it is
And
what it
yet,
is, right? So for
yeah,
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Sir Curry.
I was just going to say at the same time, what was I going to say? At the same time, none of that, all of that is it. So there's not even any need
No.
to go there, basically.
Yeah, it's just basically
Somehow.
repeating that it is what it is, no matter what it is. So if it's dropping away the
Yeah.
meditation, that's it. Say, but there's no one behind it. It's a loss. It's not an attainment. So for the character, it might seem like an attainment, but that's also it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's also it.
Yeah.
It's there's meaning that there's really no one behind it anymore. It's just whatever it is. Yeah.
So me here thinks, oh, that hasn't happened to me. I still need to do
No.
some yoga or
Yeah.
it leaves that kind of feeling in me that
Yeah. Again, comparison
I'm
is
not
just
there yet.
another. Yeah, comparison is just another trick to maintain that they're separate, right? But it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what another person says. It's not an attainment. It's not even a loss. It's just what is. So
That's
what
right.
is seemingly appearing over there, seemingly like Corey, is already, but there's no one behind it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, in a way, there's no point in talking about any of it, really.
No. Yeah. Bingo.
Really.
Bingo. Yeah. But
No
talking
point.
happens anyway about it,
But yeah,
seemingly.
yeah.
Yeah, and
And
there's really no, it's all autonomous. It's just what seems to happen, right? So,
that's what. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh God.
that's
Oh,
why I say always almost in the beginning that it's really meaningless. It's pointless talking about this. Yet talking happens about it because a comparison is just a story, right? You're comparing a story to a story. So even if someone says that, oh yes, I was walking on water yesterday and I felt really free, and that's just a story. It doesn't matter. Or if somebody says,
good. I feel better. I feel better.
yeah, there's
I thought I was lacking behind.
no, there's no one behind and there's no one ahead. Let's just say that. Yeah.
I know that. Of
Yeah.
course I. Oh, please.
Love you, Corey. It
Ah.
already is. Love
Oh,
you.
by the way, did you forget to send my my transcript?
You recording? Oh, I forgot. I've been really busy lately, but I'll send it now that you reminded me. Thank you for the
thank you.
reminder.
Yeah, thank you. That would be
We'll
lovely.
we'll talk about you know who later. I'll
Yeah.
message you. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Take care.
Big hug. Thank you.
Big hug. Maria. Hi, Maria.
Hi.
Hello.
I was just reflecting on what Freddie was talking about, and like psychedelic experiences. Like I've had a few, but not that many actually.
Yeah.
But I've also had that thing where everything just felt so overwhelmingly unknown and big, and it just actually was like the start of any anxiety I've ever had because I was really
Yeah.
isolated. And then I was like, oh well, could it be that like all of our fears are actually just from when something tries to like understand and conceptualize something? So like it's not the experience of that unknown that is scary. It's trying to conceptualize it into
It
something
is. It's
understandable.
trying to know the unknown, right? So that's when the
Yeah.
fear arises because it cannot know what it is. It also misses that what is already unknown, which is whatever this is trying to know itself. It cannot know
Right.
itself because it's unknown.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
the process of trying to understand it is what's so scary.
It is.
Actually.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Okay. Yeah.
Very simple.
I've always been like, what was so terrifying about that experience? And it still sometimes feels like, oh God, like if that's what death is, then like that's scary.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but maybe when we die, there's no one trying to figure it out anymore. And that's
Yeah.
so that's why it's chill.
Well, when you die, well, you have no ideas what this is, which is this already.
Right. So we're already
Meaning
dead.
that you're already dead. Yes. Just like Corey.
Cool. Yeah. No,
There's no comparison. If someone is dead, then everybody's dead. You know what I'm saying? You're dead. You're dead. Everyone's dead.
You got a dad. You got a dad.
You get, yeah. Everyone's dead. And I think we'll end it at that. That's a good ending. Everyone's dead.
Everyone's dead.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. Unless you have more questions. Sorry. But I think that's a good ending, isn't it? Yes. All right. Thank you so much, everyone.